Hey, friend. This is the Fresh Princess of Email Marketing speaking. You are listening to episode 14 of the Email Sound Booth podcast. How lucky am I? Now, if you've listened to other episodes, you can tell my tone is a little bit different today because today I want to keep it real with you. Look, I know email marketing is a rough road. I know it's a super long game and it can be super easy to give up because not all of us are long-term thinkers. I know it's easier to do the DM selling thing, run ads, pick up email, put it down, pick it up, put it down. But gosh, it really ticks me off when you do that. Email is the one stable thing you can do and you can own in your business. I get really upset because I know you've got hopes. I know you've got dreams, not just for your business, but for your life. And I know you got into business because you love helping people you want to serve, right? And I'm telling you right now, you can have the most impact for your people, your business, your life with email marketing. How do I know? Because I've done it. Yeah. Email sucks. I've heard it all before. It's hard. It's anxiety inducing. Nothing I ever do works. Heck, my first episode of this podcast was all the excuses I hear about email marketing every day from thousands of people since I got into this game in 2016. But you know what? I'm going to do the brave and bold thing today, and I'm going to remind you of all the ways email marketing is awesome. And how you're thinking about it in a completely wrong way. Look, coming from an education background, I was taught not to tell your students that they're wrong, to be gentler. But, and I don't like to tell people that they're wrong. But in my mind, this is drastically important for your future. You say you have goals and dreams. You say you want to serve. Okay. You can reach your goals. You can see your dreams come to life. You can maximize your service with email marketing. But you continue to not take it seriously. And maybe I've done a bad job at explaining how freaking awesome email is. Maybe I've done a bad job on telling you all the reasons you should fall absolutely head over heels in love with it. And guess what? Today I'm going to give you 5 of those reasons. And money is the last reason I'm going to give you. So buckle up, Buttercup. The Fresh Princess is on one today. Speaking of one, let's talk about the first reason you should fall in love with email marketing. It's really practical. You own your email list, right? People opt in to hear from you. And whether you decide to use Kit, formerly known as ConvertKit, or something like Stan or ActiveCampaign or whatever, you have those emails. ConvertKit doesn't own your email list, right? Those are your emails. You are free to download and export that file at any time and take those emails somewhere else, which I don't recommend. I actually love Kit. Okay, so you own your email list. And I'm going to give you another practical example. Like raise your hand, and I know you're doing the dishes or something. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you were alive in 2022 and you remember a billionaire buying a social media platform. And then you remember, keep your hand raised if in 2023 you remember seeing that platform change its name, lose all of its advertisers, literally all of them, and losing half of its users. If you had built your entire if you had built your entire business on that platform, you are screwed. And I know a lot of journalists and bloggers and people who write and talk for a living, they literally were screwed. Okay? That's how serious it is. Email is so different. Okay? You own the list. And actually, that leads me into number 2. Email is a decentralized platform. Not only do we not own Twitter, Instagram, whatever, they can change at any time. Let me segue into reason number 2 you should love email marketing is because email is a decentralized platform, meaning we've got big players like Google, Yahoo, Microsoft. We've also got lots of little players in the game. And then we have micro players like you and me, the users. There are billions of us. And not one person owns all the email software, hardware, etc., right? It's a decentralized platform. Twitter, as my example, or X, is a centralized platform, right? Taking it back to reason number one. And literally, we saw what happens and we would think this was an extreme case, but it was just a case of some homie freaking buying it and deciding, I don't like the way it's run. I'm going to change almost everything about it. That does not happen in email marketing. The same way Instagram changes its algorithm all the time, etc. Like literally, like one guy owns that. And guess what? Mark Zuckerberg, he owns Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Threads, ... I've never done research on it, but he probably owns other stuff. That's a centralized platform, okay? And that's very dangerous to build your entire marketing around something that you do not own. Right? Going back to number one, you own your list. Whew, I really am on one today. I just want this for you so bad. I want you to succeed in your business. And I know email marketing can be the answer. All right, let's go to number 3. The inbox is an active way of thinking. So your potential leads are very active. They're using sort of front of brain activity when they are searching their inbox. This is in direct contrast to social media, where it's a very passive back of brain activity. And let me break this down for you. So let's say your ideal customer, actually, I don't even need to get that granular. When you are on social media, the algorithm is feeding you what it thinks you want to see, right? Again, that social media platform is in charge, right? And so you're very passively just searching for anything and everything that's going to entertain you, that's going to light up the dopamine, right? It's a passive way of interacting online. Now let's talk about when you open up your Apple Mail, your Gmail, your Yahoo, whatever. That's a very active form of scrolling and interacting online. We are actively, number one, we're actively deleting the crap we don't want to see, right? The emails, I mean, spam filters a thing, right? But they don't do a perfect job the way an Instagram algorithm does a perfect job of showing you stuff, right? And so, and that leads into my 4th thing, but I won't get there yet. Anyway, we're actively deleting. Then we're also actively like, oh, I know my phone bill's coming up, but I can't remember the exact amount. So we're actively searching for that. And when we see someone like, oh, Liz sent me an email, I love Liz, let me click on that, right? It's a very active way. We have to click to see the email versus something like TikTok where I'm scrolling. I don't really have to click. It's kind of, once I do one click, it's going to just start feeding me, right? I do have to swipe. The clicking is a very different experience. It's saying, I'm clicking this because I know and I'm curious about what's inside, versus I'm swiping because I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm bored already. So the inbox is an active thinking activity on the internet, and we want that. That's what makes email so effective, right? We want people to be active, to be engaged is, I guess, a better word I should have been using. These are engaged readers, and that's what we want. All right, the next thing, I think I'm on tip number 4 or whatever, reason number 4. Consent. Oh my gosh, raise your hand if you love consent. Email marketing is consent-based marketing. And there's another email marketer named Tarzan K that talks a lot more about this. But basically, I opt in to hear from you. Isn't that so much nicer? Don't you think it's going to be so much more engaged and you're going to see higher ROI because I opted in to hear from you versus, oh, I'm paying for Meta ads, I'm paying for Facebook ads, and Facebook decides what my user sees, right? Not one person on social media asked for advertising. Yes, technically we consented to the terms and conditions, but we did not consent to the number of ads. We didn't consent to, oh yes, I definitely 100% want to see ads from Liz Wilcox, right? But with email marketing, we do that. Yes, I 100% want to hear more about Liz Wilcox and what she can teach me and how, and I am going to join this email list. It is consent-based, and we love that. I'm a terrible singer, but I'm on one today, and I just want to drive the point home. Side note, I have a teaching background, and I know that singing helps people memorize, like it helps with rote memorization, and I want you to memorize consent-based. Is it helping? I don't know. Okay, number 5. And this one's for all the people who claim to be heart-centered, who claim to be mission-driven, purpose-driven. These are like buzzwords. Honestly, I don't really know what they mean. We're all in business to help and make money. Why do we have to say that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm on one today. Moving on. For all the people who claim to be heart-centered, this is the 5th reason I'm giving you, but the number 1 reason for you specifically, why you should fall in love with email marketing. Real connections. You can make real connections. The inbox, because it's consent-based, because we're actively thinking in the inbox, our people are more engaged. It's an intimate space, for lack of a better term. I actually hate that word, but I can't think of a better one. It is where people are actively searching, where people want to know more, where people consented to hear from you. So for all these reasons, you can make real connections. I have met, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of people in real life from my various email lists. And guess what? I like just about every single one of them because I've made real connections. I'm growing an email list of people that like me and that I like them, right? And so if you really mean it when you say, oh, I'm in business to serve people, if selling gives you anxiety because it feels sleazy, because you really are heart-centered, then I'm going to cuss because it's my podcast. Damn it. Email market. It is the least sleazy thing you can do. And I know there are scammers and spammers out there that give email marketing a bad name. But you're not going to do that. I know you're not going to do that because you're afraid to. You're terrified. You're effing terrified to do that. So I know you're not going to do it. So take a breath and just try to make real connections. And I'm smiling now if you're not watching this on YouTube, because this is the number 1 thing I love about email marketing. I love that right now I'm thinking about very specific people that I've met through email marketing. My, for lack of a better term, biz bestie, the person I love talking to about business, I love hanging out with, I've met up several times, I met through my email list. Her name is Lakeisha Mosley. She does amazing events. Anyway, and she's in the mental health space. Anyway, I met her because she just replied to one of my emails. And now she's one of my absolute best friends. And I'm not saying you have to make best friends with all your subscribers. But when you do email properly, when you're doing it from that heart-centered perspective, you make real connections. And guess what? Real connections lead to real money. Which that's that last piece, that number 6 thing I'm going to give you today. High return on investment. High ROI. AKA money, 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 money. Money. Raise your hand if you did the last money with me. I hope so. Anyway, email has a higher return than any other form of email marketing. They say, for every dollar you spend with email marketing, you can get up to $40 in return. Well, guess the freak what, honey? In 2023, I did the math. For every dollar I spent with email marketing, I got $166 in return. That's wild. So don't tell me you can't afford your email service provider. And please, this is a whole nother episode. Stop using email service providers that no one's ever heard of. They don't have the features you need. An email service provider is it's an expense, not an investment. Meaning it's just something you have to pay for if you want to have a real business. And y'all, I said I was on one today, and I hope that you are receiving all of this with love because I really do mean it. I don't want to say I'm tired, but I'm tired for you because I know that this can work. I know that this can help you reach your goals. I know it will when you do it right. And so, again, think about you own that list, baby. And people are consenting to hear from you. When they're in their inbox, they're actively thinking, they're actively engaged, right? And when you make real connections, all of those things I just said, that gives you the high ROI. That's the reason people like me are always yelling at you about email marketing. It's not just that you can get into email marketing and, make that 40x return. But it's when you focus on these things, when you focus on, making the connections, finding people who consent to hear from you, actively engaging them. That's when you're going to see the high ROI. Whew, okay, soapbox rant over. I hope you know, again, this whole episode is coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of, oh my gosh, I want this so bad for you. Please see what I see. Because it is. Email changed my freaking life. Honestly, when I started email marketing, when I started my blog, was the day I started my email list. And y'all, I didn't have any money either. I actually used a plugin, like a free WordPress plugin, to start my email list. And I was emailing them from the plugin. And I told myself, when I get to 100 subscribers, I know I'll be taking this seriously and I'll join Kit, formerly ConvertKit, right? And I did. I got there. I think it only took me like 60 days, but I was at it. Anyway, the point is, when I started emailing, I was living in my RV. Yeah, my husband, he was in the military. So we did have a steady paycheck, but it wasn't a lot, especially when you think about I have had to support my mother financially since I was 16, either fully or part-time. I had 2 jobs in high school. And so at that point, we didn't have a lot of money. I was used to not having a lot of money, but I was tired of it. And I felt so much freaking responsibility for my mother. And I didn't have a job at the time. And I was like, my husband is actually like not pleased with this situation. And he's about to cut my mom off. And what am I going to do? She hasn't had a job in half a decade. And now I pay my mom all my mom's bills. I got her out of 8 Mile in Detroit. She lives 2 minutes from my brother's house. She's happier than she ever has been. And I'm able to do that and pay for my own rent and, full-time employ my sister, which she can pay all her bills with that salary, and. It's all because of email marketing. And I've also helped other people change their lives with email marketing. Every day I see in my Facebook group and in my inbox, oh my gosh, Liz, I made, I did a launch and it worked. I made my first sales from this launch. Thank you so much. Things like that, right? And I work with beginners. So no, I don't have a lot of case studies where it's like, oh my gosh, the rags to riches. Thanks, Liz Wilcox. I like working with you. I like working with the person who just needs to get going with email marketing, who just needs to be convinced that it's worthwhile to put in the work, right? Once you start actually making some good money, I like to refer you out because I like working with my beginners. I know I just went on a rant, but I love you so much. I just want all of this for you so badly. So go forth, my email friend, have fun with it. And if you're still struggling or just know right now you need something to make email a whole lot easier, or you just need a community to gather around you so you can keep reaching your goals, stop distracting yourself, and finally do the things to fall in love with email marketing, I'd love for you to join Email Marketing Membership if you're not already in there. It's $9 a month. Cancel anytime. Link in the show notes. Okay, that was a lot. That's it for today. As always, please come back and share in the reviews of this podcast how this episode helped you today. Hopefully it helped you today. I know it was a little tough love, but forgive me. I love you. I want this so bad for you. I'm Liz Wilcox. You're awesome, and I'll meet you at the next episode of the Email Sound Booth.